Ever wondered how seemingly ordinary people get sucked into the vortex of cults, surrendering their freedom, their critical thinking, and sometimes their lives? Welcome to the obscure world of cults, a place where charisma and manipulation walk hand in hand, where leaders build empires on the shattered dreams of vulnerable followers. Here, the ordinary gets twisted into the extraordinary, and the unthinkable becomes a norm. A place where the quest for belonging leads to a path of fear, isolation, and often destruction. Cults are not a new phenomenon. They've been around for centuries, cloaked in different forms, exploiting the human need for community, for purpose, for something to believe in. They prey on those who are at their most vulnerable, offering them a sense of belonging, a promise of a utopia, and a charismatic leader to follow. From the infamous People's Temple, who orchestrated one of the largest mass suicides in history, to the Manson family, whose reign of terror still sends chills down our spines. Each cult, with its unique set of beliefs, rituals, and structures, all share some common threads: manipulative tactics, charismatic leaders, and a toxic blend of fear and control. These groups operate on the fringes of society, often in plain sight, yet hidden beneath layers of secrecy and deception. They lure in followers with promises of love and acceptance, only to trap them in a web of psychological manipulation, exploiting their fears and isolating them from the outside world. But how do these cults manage to exert such control over their followers? How do they turn rational individuals into devoted disciples, willing to surrender their autonomy, their identities, and in some cases, their lives? The answer lies in the chilling tactics and psychological manipulations employed by cult leaders, designed to break down resistance and ensure complete obedience. In the next few minutes, we will peel back the layers of this dark world, exposing the tactics and psychological manipulations that cult leaders use to control their followers. From the seductive allure of love bombing to the fear-inducing practice of thought control, we'll shed light on the sinister mechanisms that keep the wheels of these cults turning. So, what's the bait that draws people into this web of deceit? The answer lies in the cold, calculated tactics of manipulation. That's right, folks. The cult world is a masterclass in manipulation, with charismatic leaders at the helm. They're like puppeteers, pulling strings and making their followers dance to their tune. But how exactly do they do it? First off, they use a technique called love bombing. Imagine being showered with attention, compliments, and affection. Sounds wonderful, right? But it's all a ruse, a facade designed to make you feel special, to make you feel like you found your tribe. This emotional high can be intoxicating, making it hard to see the warning signs. Then comes thought control. Cult leaders are skilled at reprogramming minds, twisting reality until it fits their narrative. They might use loaded language, black and white thinking, or even sleep deprivation to weaken your cognitive defenses. The goal? To make you question your own judgment and rely on the cult for guidance. Lastly, there's isolation. By cutting you off from the outside world, they can create an echo chamber where their voice is the loudest, the only one you hear. This isolation can be physical, like moving to a remote commune, or emotional, like encouraging you to cut ties with non-believers. Either way, the result is the same. You're left feeling dependent on the cult for your social and emotional needs. But let's not forget the star of the show, the charismatic leader. They're the ones who tie it all together, their charm and charisma acting as the glue that binds the cult. They're often seen as infallible, their words taken as gospel truth. This unswerving loyalty allows them to exert control, to bend their followers to their will. These manipulative strategies are designed to break down an individual's defenses, making them susceptible to the cult's influence. So remember, if it feels too good to be true, it probably is. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and keep those critical thinking caps on. Cults often promise a utopia, a perfect world that appeals to those disillusioned with their current lives. But what is the reality behind these promises? Well, let's peel back the layers. Cults at their core are masters of illusion. They dangle the carrot of a perfect society, a haven of peace, love, and understanding. They appeal to those feeling lost, those yearning for a sense of belonging and purpose. They promise a community where everyone is valued, where everyone has a role to play. The allure is undeniable. especially for those feeling marginalized or misunderstood by the world at large. But this utopia, this paradise, is often nothing more than smoke and mirrors. Behind the facade of harmony and brotherhood, there lurks a darker reality. Members are often subjected to exploitation and abuse, all in the name of the greater good, the promise of a better world. But who really benefits from this so-called utopia? Often, it's the charismatic leaders at the top, the ones who spin tales of salvation and enlightenment, all the while pulling the strings behind the scenes. They're the puppet masters, and the members, the true believers, are merely their puppets. They exploit the dreams and needs of individuals, using them as fuel for their own ambitions, their own twisted vision of utopia. They manipulate emotions, foster a sense of dependency, and encourage blind devotion. Members find themselves isolated from the outside world, from their families and friends. They're trapped in a cycle of abuse and control, all under the guise of love and unity. And the cost? It's often far greater than what members initially realize. It's not just financial, though, that can be significant. It's also emotional, psychological, even physical. The price of belonging is steep, and the toll can be devastating. The price of belonging in these groups is often far greater than what members initially realize. This is the harsh reality behind the facade of utopia, the bitter truth behind the sweet promises of cults. The perfect world they promise is often a nightmare in disguise. And the cost of admission? It's your freedom, your autonomy, your very identity. But there's hope. Many have escaped the clutches of these cults, their stories serving as a beacon for others trapped in similar situations. Let's delve into these tales of resilience and courage. Take the story of Sarah, for instance. A woman of strength, she was once ensnared by a cult's false promise of belonging. But Sarah fought back. She armed herself with knowledge, unraveling the lies that had once held her captive. She broke free, escaping the iron grip of the cult, and now uses her experience to educate others about the dangers lurking beneath the surface of such groups. Then we have David, a survivor who was once lost in the labyrinth of a cult's twisted fantasies. He too found the courage to challenge the authority of his charismatic leader, to question the doctrine that was fed to him. David's escape wasn't just a physical one, it was a mental emancipation. He shattered the chains of fear and control, and now stands as a testament to the power of critical thinking. These stories are not anomalies. They are not the exceptions but the rule. They serve as a powerful reminder that individuals can reclaim their lives from the clutches of these manipulative entities. But what can we learn from these tales of survival? It's simple. Knowledge and awareness are our greatest weapons against the deceptive practices of cults. By understanding the tactics they employ, we can better protect ourselves and our loved ones from falling into their traps. We must remember that cults prey on vulnerability. They exploit our innate desire for connection, acceptance, and meaning. But we can fortify ourselves against their predatory tactics by fostering a culture of critical thinking, open dialogue, and emotional resilience. The fight for freedom is not an easy one. It's a journey fraught with challenges and pitfalls, but it's a journey worth embarking on. For every cult leader who seeks to control, there is a Sarah or a David ready to challenge, question, and break free. Remember, awareness is the antidote to deception. Share this video, spark conversations, and let's shine a light on the shadows.